There's an interesting NPR story about bulletproof whiteboards. And these are whiteboards that a small central Minnesota Rocori school district is buying. They're going to spend about $25,000 for these protective devices. They're produced by a company that's better known for military armor products. And the chairwoman of the Rocori School Board, Nadine Schnettler, says the timing was right. The company is making these in response to the Newtown shooting. That's a key part of the story. And has been making similar products for our soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan. These are $300 each. They're 18 by 20 inch. They're produced by Maryland-based Hardwire LLC. And they're going to provide an additional layer of protection as it's being described to students and teachers. Now, I think that this is very interesting for a number of reasons. Number one, the reality is that while horrific when they happen, school shootings are a very small percentage of the shootings that take place in this country. And you now have one school district spending $25,000 for a product purchased from a for-profit company that is known for making military armor, okay? How much fear is necessary to get school districts to decide that it's worth spending money on stuff like this? Because, again, the reality is school shootings are not very common. Your chances of, as a school student, dying in a school shooting are almost non-existent. So that gets me to the next question, which is, I don't really believe most of the conspiracy theories surrounding Sandy Hook and any of these events, right? But if I actually want to look at who really has the biggest motive to plan something like this, who can really take advantage of it, it's the organizations and companies that would sell products around it. The NRA, representing gun manufacturers. Companies like this. So when people jump to it's the government conspiracies, I would look at who's really going to make money from this. And ultimately, it's companies like this, isn't it?
Right. There are going to be companies profiting from this. There are going to be people profiting from this no matter what you do. And I think to some extent that that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, in other areas, you've got special desks that prevent that students can hide under when there's an earthquake. And when heavy things fall on it, it will keep them safe. You've got things like that. So why not have things like this if you can afford it?
Well, the difference is, and I would want to get your comment on this too, Natan, earthquakes, you can just objectively say, this is nothing about our culture. This is nothing about legislation around guns. You might be in an area where earthquakes happen, and therefore we invest in desks kids can hide under. Guns are a completely social issue, and the fear around them is very much media-driven, Natan.
Yeah, this is completely insane, but I want to actually address it on the merits of what they're trying to do here, because I think it's totally absurd even on the face of it. So mostly white. First of all, the whiteboard in this picture that they did this bullet test on is incredibly small. No one's going to hide behind it. You can hit the person easily around it. Usually whiteboards, even if they're large, are near the wall of a room, which means one of two things. Either the shooter is, no one's going to be able to hide behind it because it's so close to the wall, or everyone's going to try to hide behind it, and the person will go over and have everyone to shoot at together.
Natan, I thought the idea was that each student would have one of these at his desk to do math exercises, and then when the shooter comes in, they just grab it. They've got it right there. And I guess
you mean like a shield. Each
Yeah.
student holds this up like a shield.
Right.
Right. A shooter's not going to push them onto the floor, have them drop it, and shoot them. This makes absolutely no sense, even when you take it at face value for what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
What I was going to say in general is that this particular idea I find to be incredibly stupid.
You're saying you're not opposed to spending money to make schools safer if it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, no, none of us are opposed to that.
Yeah.
But we all agree this is
yes,
completely absurd.
there is the fear that exists, and there are going to be companies like this that capitalize off it with a crappy product like you see here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it should be more procedural and structural in terms of the school, how safety is carried out.
Yeah,
But
depending on individual children to have their whiteboards, this is not where I don't believe this is where we are in this country.
I just want to make one more point on this, which is that if you're going to train the kids, you would need to train the kids to actually raise these whiteboards up to protect themselves if it came to it. Just the fact that the kids know that they have bulletproof boards on their desks and that they're being trained is going to create such a corrosive atmosphere of fear in all of these schools.
Imagine the permission slips going home. Mr. Motamedy, the kid you accidentally had but love, is going to be trained in how to protect himself using a bulletproof shield in class. Please just sign here to indicate that you acknowledge him taking possession of his bulletproof whiteboard.
I also wonder how well a small child can hold on to one of these while it's taking fire from an assault rifle.
The number of questions are never ending, and a lot of money is going to be made on this, particularly in rich school districts, of course.
If only these schools had smart people asking good questions.
Let's take a break. Next, we will talk to Michael Moss. Very much looking forward to talking to him. He was on The Daily Show recently talking about his book, Salt, Sugar, Fat. He will be up next, and we've got more stories, so I'm glad you're with us on a Monday afternoon. DavidPakman.com/membership to support today.
The David Pakman Show at DavidPakman.com.